going to show you how to create a commit with your changes for the community notebook competition, push up your branch, and then raise a pull request against the competition repository. I'm here at the moment in my JupyterLab instance. I'm in the community notebook competition repository. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up a terminal, and then we're going to set up a few things for Git and GitHub so that we can communicate with the project repository and make our submission. Once we get going, we're going to first create our SSH key, so you can follow along, copy the key type that I used. I'm going to hit enter here. I'm going to save it in the default location that it suggests. I'm not going to enter in a passphrase for this video, but it's always good practice to do that. So I'm going to hit enter. Again, I'm not adding a passphrase, so I'm going to hit enter again. And then we've had our key created. What we need to do now is we need to give GitHub the public key so that we can use this for communicating with Git. So I'm going to cat out the contents of that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line, I'm going to copy it, then I'm going to go over here to my GitHub profile. I'm going to go to the settings of my account, and then I'm going to find SSH and GPG keys over here and click that. I'm going to add a new SSH key, and then for the purpose of this, let's just call this JupyterLab. It's an authentication key, we don't need to change anything there. I'm going to copy and paste this and then hit add. You might be asked to give some two-factor authentication codes if you have that set up on your account, if you haven't done that recently, but I have, so it didn't ask me. And here we can see my keys there, and it hasn't been used yet. What we're going to do then is go back to our JupyterLab instance and do a few more things to set up Git. What we need to do now is, when you cloned the GitHub repository, use the HTTPS URL for that. Unfortunately, you can't use username and password authentication with Git and GitHub. So what we have to do is to tell Git to use the SSH location. So I'm going to copy and paste that here and hit enter, and that just sets that in my config. If you want to find that URL for the competition repository, you can go to the repository here, click the drop down for code, and it'll be in the SSH tab. You just need to copy this value. Okay, so we've configured where the repository is. Let's do a few things to let Git know who we are. So we're going to set our email address. So this is my work email address. I'm going to hit enter there. We need to tell it who we are as a person as well. So here's my name. So let's copy and paste this. Hit enter. Okay, so now Git knows who we are and where we need to talk. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a branch, and this is going to be containing our changes for the competition. And then lastly, on the terminal for a bit, I'm going to make a folder called Ciaran's Demo Submission. So this will be the title of my notebook, and this is where my submission will live. So if we dive into if we first copy and paste the template notebook here, just whilst we're here, and then we're going to dive into submissions, dive into Ciaran Devon submissions, and we're going to paste that notebook there. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to rename it to submission as per the guidelines for submitting your competition entry. And then we have. And then what we're going to do is another dumping into the command line. I'm going to create the submission markdown file in this folder as well. And then there we have our two files that are necessary for the competition. Once JupyterLab figures out what it's doing, it's going to see that file there. Yep. So let's open it into here, and then what we're going to do is populate it with the markdown template included in the competition repository. At the top of this markdown file is a bit of YAML, which is a markup language. This is just metadata for us for your submission. So things like who you are, how to contact you, who helped you with this submission, what the title of your notebook is, and then a few things like whether you agreed to the terms of the competition, and then what data you used. So I'm going to hit save on that, so that we've got our submission there. And then that's it in terms of kind of preparing the files. We're going to jump back into the terminal and get ready to actually create a commit and push that up. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell Git that we actually care about those files, we want to use them. So we're going to add them, and that creates kind of a stash of them. Then we're going to add a commit here. And all you can see here is we've created a commit on my branch with the two files necessary for a submission. And then we're going to push up that branch, and then we can dive into the GitHub repository. So yes, I trust this key. It's the first time using it, so I'm just going to type yes. And there we go. We can see that it's pushed up my branch to the community notebook competition. And then what we can do is we can go back onto the repository, We can see here it gets really handily telling us that we've pushed a branch recently. So we're going to hit compare and pull request. We're going to do that. We can leave these all kind of auto-filled out from GitHub. That's kind of the title of my commit message. If you want to, you can add a few more bits of information here. It's not necessary for the competition, but we'll leave it blank for now. We can just hit create pull request. What will happen then is our CI pipeline will do a few checks against your pull request. So it's going to check that your notebook adheres to a few simple linting rules. It's going to check that you included the right metadata and information in your submission markdown file. And then it will give you a yes or no as to whether it passed or not. And that's how you submit your notebook for the competition. As you can see here, mine passed. So what that means is someone from the competition will come along, review the code. They might have a few comments about it. We'll have a little bit of back and forth, and then we can merge your submission in. And thank you for listening.